Have you set a goal before of I'm gonna, hit six figures, 10K months? Those are the probably the most popular ones that I hear. But you've set that goal before and you're like, I'm gonna do it by this date, gonna make it happen, and doesn't happen. We're gonna talk today about the balance between planning and just going with it, because that is really important, especially as you're working towards your income goal. Here we go. Welcome back to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Cerka. We are talking today about the balance between making a plan and just going with it, because there's a time and a place for both, and you need a balance. Okay. Have you set that goal before? You're like, I'm going to hit those 10K months. I'm going to make 100K, whatever it might be. Maybe you're just starting out and you're like, I want to make $1,000 and you haven't done that yet. Whatever it might be, you set that goal, you put the timeline in, and then you don't hit it. There's a couple things that show up here. The first one is we create cognitive dissonance when we set that goal and we don't achieve it over and over and over again because we lose belief in ourselves. We lose that confidence. And there's ways that we're going to fix that. So stick with me, okay? But when you've set a goal and it feels too big of a jump, your subconscious mind will be like, no, we're not doing that because it's designed to protect you. And if it feels so out of reach, it feels so impossible, that's a scary feeling. So you will self sabotage. You'll not do what you need to do in order to see success. What's the solution then? How do you do that? Like, okay, do I not plan at all? Just kind of like wing everything, don't have any attention to any details? No, not at all. We have to have a plan, we have to have a strategy, but we can't have it be so rigid that we get stuck in the cognitive dissonance. This is what we do. I want you to create a vision of what you want this to look like. Like, what are you working towards? What's the end goal? Maybe it's the revenue number, but what's the revenue number going to do for you? Is that actually what you need to achieve whatever lifestyle, those feelings, those experiences that you want to create? Because often we'll pick a number just randomly and we have no clue what that looks like. Is it enough money? Is it too much? Can you be happier with less? What does that look like? Create the life that you want to, envision that, and there we're just kind of winging it. We put this out there. This is what you're working towards without the step-by-step expectation of when it's going to happen. But then we need to plan, like, how are we going to get there? What are the things that are working? We have to know when it comes to your money, you have to know what you're spending. You have to know what you're making. We have to know our numbers, but we're not caught up in them. That is the power of removing yourself from the numbers, because once you know what they are and they don't control you, you can use them simply as data points to make a decision. It's not a reflection of who you are, whether, the business is profitable, whether you're draining money, whether you're spending money on duplicate expenses and you don't need to. Whatever that is, that's just like the tactile things that we need to take care of. That is not a reflection of you at all. But that's a skill to be able to remove yourself from it. So make the plan, the vision of where you want to go, but then go to your step-by-step plan. Like, how are you actually going to get there? We can't just, okay, manifestation, great, works, vision board, all those things work, but we have to have the tactile piece to it as well. We have to actually be doing the work. But we can't just be doing the work running around like a chicken with our head cut off, because then you're working way harder than you need to and you're not actually seeing progress. You have to be strategic in it. You have to make the focus. So plan what's actually working. Look at the numbers, your last five sales. Where did those last five sales come from? If you can look at that and do more of those things, okay, duplicate that. That's what's working, instead of the social media stuff, which social media has a time and place. It's just not necessarily always a client. Posting on social isn't necessarily a client generating activity. Okay. There's a different purpose behind that. So yes, I do it. I still love, we don't really point as much on reels anymore. You notice that? That used to be the thing. Like, I don't want to point and dance on reels. I don't do as much of that, but I still post those reels. I still do those things, but I know that is not what is going to generate clients. That's not what is going to generate growth in my business. It has a third function, which is nurture. That's it for another day. But does does that make sense? This is where I want us to be on a Zoom so we can actually talk through this because this is key. How many times have we set those income goals and not hit it and then get defeated and it doesn't feel possible the next time you want to set the goal? This is the solution to that. Yes, you're still working towards that vision, that still overarching big goal, but that's not what you're working on. And even if you break it down, okay, so let's say you want to hit the 10K months, but you're like, I just need to make $1,000 first, $1,000 a month. Okay. Then focus on that first. Does that feel attainable? Pick a goal. And if you're going to put the tactile on it, pick a goal that feels attainable. If it feels so out of reach, make it part of your vision that there's not a deadline associated with it. This is just where you're working towards, not the immediate thing that you're going to work on. Yes, we have to push ourselves. Yes, we have to move forward, but we have to do it in a smart way. We're not self sabotaging, but we also have to be looking at the numbers and doing more of what is actually working and not avoiding the money numbers because you're going to work harder than you have to. All right. That's what I've got for today. I want to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram. What was your biggest takeaway? Was this helpful? Do we want more of these? Because, this is something that I created, and we're going to get into side notes. I did this a lot for years that I was self-sabotaging because, we set these big income goals and you're like, okay, I'll do the work. We did the work. And then we don't get there. Like you don't hit the income goal and then you're defeated and what's wrong with me? And you go through that whole vicious cycle again and again and again. That's why I can see it when my clients come and talk to me. Anyways, okay. Send me a message on Instagram. I want to hear from you. What was your biggest takeaway? All right, that's it for now. We'll see you next time. Are you tired of not seeing consistent cash flow? What if you could stop wasting countless hours working on the wrong things only to leave yourself more frustrated than you started? All without jumping from strategy to strategy, just trying to find one that works, and without requiring a week of reflection or a time audit because you don't have the time to do the things you need to as it is. That's you. My cash flow calculator might be perfect for you. This assessment style calculator reveals your blind spots and what you're missing so that you can finally see consistent cash flow month after month. So grab my cash flow calculator and unlock the right work that you're probably already doing in order to finally see consistent cash flow month after month. It's only going to take you 90 seconds and you won't need to know any of your numbers to actually do this. Then as a bonus, there's a special way you can get me to give you feedback on your results. Simply go to aimeecerka.com/cashflow to access. And of course, that link is hanging out in the show notes for you.